Welcome everyone to the Black Girl Heal Her series. I am so delighted to be back before you all to do this amazing segment because I think healing is a continuous journey. So we've got to keep the information going. Now, tonight's guest she is one of our faves from the show. Actually, she was with us on the Black Girl Heal Her series last year. She was on the virtual summit. And don't forget, we've got the virtual summit coming up on Saturday, September 21st. So make certain you put it on your calendars, you set your alarms, you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't have to worry about all that. But I am bringing back one of the guests from last year because you all just loved her info so much. So I decided to dedicate a whole show to her so that you can soak up everything that she is putting down. So without further ado, let's bring back Dr. Shawne. Hey, girl.
Hey!
It is so wow. You back with us. How have you been?
Excellent. I am like thriving and excited about all these blessings that are like really presenting themselves, doors that are opening. And I'm excited of how many men and women I'm touching just doing what I'm called to do.
I love it. Now, we've had you on here, so we all know and love you, but please introduce yourself to the newbies to the group.
Well, hello, new family members. I am Dr. Shawne Reddic, a board-certified doctor of natural medicine, as well as a certified emotion code practitioner. The focus in my program here at the Gut Health is simply hormones, stress/emotions, and gut-brain axis. So one of the things that I love to do is to serve. And what better way to serve than to serve the natural healing of our health and wellness?
Yes, I love it. Now, it's been a year's time since you were here. Now, we're going to recap. We're going to give a recap of some of the goods that you were dropping and find out what's new with you.
Okay.
Well, there is something new with you, right? There is something new with you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Love. We love that. Congratulations.
Yeah. So many people have invited and welcomed me to the Left Hand Gang. Okay?
Yes, I
didn't know that thing existed. So with that being said, I'm just like super excited that the value and the worth and the long suffering and the patience is paying off in this season. Yes. Relationships are never meant to be easy, but they're meant to come together on a solid ground. And we had that foundation. We just had to wean out some of the kinks.
Yes.
And a lot of people give up too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start a new relationship and realize the same battle is in there because they never won the war within themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like excited that this 15-year journey, 15 years, I've known them for 25.
Wow.
Yes. But at the end of the day, we both had to have life lessons and learn and to respect each other's gifts and anointing.
Yes.
And so we're both spiritually anointed and powerhouses, but we're very emotional too. And so our passion would come against each other because we had to mature in those areas, of communication.
I love that. And I love how you just, kind of broke it down because I think society puts us on this timeline.
Say it again.
We're supposed to have babies at a certain time and get married at a certain time.
Yeah.
But I really do think it is an individual journey. And you know what you know. So when you find someone, and like you said, you all just had to work something out within yourselves. And I think that because that's what I've seen like over the years time when we connected last year around about this time, like I've literally seen your growth. Now we're not like hanging out with each other, we're not besties yet, right?
I love it.
But I literally have seen your growth and I love it. So when you put up the post about your engagement, I mean, I really wasn't surprised because
Mm,
when you put in that work
yes.
yourself,
Yes.
it's like it just attracts it. So everything that
True.
was in alignment just came forward. It
Cool.
just
Yes.
came forward. So I wasn't really surprised, but I was so
Thank
happy for
you.
you. I was so happy.
I was so grateful too because I'm a private person yet transparent. And some
Yes.
people could kind of get that confused, like, how are you private or how are you shy?
Mhm,
Well, I am. Seriously.
mhm.
I'm like an extrovert introvert.
Me
So what
too.
happens is God pushes me forth. And so when I lean on my faith and trust the word that he gives me, then that's when I'm okay to share.
Mhm.
So in this season, it kind of was like I have something to share because I have a story behind my share. And
Yes.
and to see all the reciprocation, I was like, oh my God, black love, like this magic that's in the
Yes.
air.
We love that.
Everyone was, yeah. And so it was just, and it act seriously, Dr. Sheniqua, what was so funny was he became proud of his decision. For the first time,
Ah,
I saw him blush. When people was telling me
yes.
congratulations on the street from knowing me from social media, he said, every time I hear your name, I'm looking back. And he was like, and I noticed he
Wow.
would blush, and he's a very shy person and private person. So you won't see me posting him all the time on so barely
Yes.
ever on social media. I keep that
Yeah.
part of my life private. But when you know us and we're
Mhm.
fun people, so to see him blush and not kind of retract, I was like, okay, you
That's
okay.
beautiful.
I see the
That's
growth.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. I am so happy to hear that. And we want that type of energy around us. We want to celebrate love. We want to celebrate personal growth and development because it
Yes.
is beautiful on this side. We're not
Yes.
saying that it's easy, but it is good when you can focus on yourself and
Yes.
see evolvement in a year's time. You don't want to be the
Yes.
same person you was in high school. Like, girl, let
No.
that go.
Let that go. You
Let it
also
go.
you also want to one thing that I had to learn over time was to celebrate my small wins.
Yes.
I come from a family background of tough love.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was hard on myself and I was very stern with my girls. But I realized that the small wins lead up to the big wins. And there would be times that I'll be like, oh, you're supposed to do that. Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to, so, but it was like, no, I would congratulate, but I wouldn't make a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
was just sharing with someone like my child would get perfect attendance, but to me, you're supposed to do that. So I wouldn't put that award on the wall. So it was
Right.
things like that. I wouldn't like, how you have your accolades and stuff. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to graduate from elementary or culminate
Mm-hmm.
or middle
Mm-hmm.
school. So it was like the big things I would celebrate, like high school,
Yeah.
college, because we had a high rate
Right.
back then of high school dropouts and stuff. So then I started saying to myself, like, no,
Yes.
just be in the moment sometimes, Shawne, just
Yes.
be in the moment. Even when I became a board certified doctor, I cried and everything, but I didn't celebrate. And everyone was like, you're not going to
Ah,
have a party, you're not going to have a dinner. And it was an ideal to do so, but I would always celebrate other people on a different magnitude than myself. And
yeah.
so I had to do some personal development and ask myself, why aren't you celebratory for you on the
Mhm.
grand scale how you would do anyone else? So that's
Yes.
what you
Yes.
see now. You see me bragging differently.
Yeah. It is. And healed people don't see it as
Hello.
bragging. Healed people see it as possibility, honey. They're like, woo!
Ooh, I love that. And that is so true because,
Yes.
when you mustered up a negative seed, it will bear rotten fruit. And so
Yes.
I was rotten in a sense on the inside
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
I had to disconnect myself from the people who taught me those limiting beliefs because they were still there today.
Mm-hmm.
And they were my
Yes.
very close circle, like my mother, my siblings, they
Mm-hmm.
still, because we're all given a label and the label isn't true. They label you early on. And so I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the advocate reader. I was the one that they said was going to have multiple baby daddies and a gang of kids. I was the one that was never going to make it. They visualized me as being the ghetto one, right? Because I
Wow.
liked hip hop music or because the rebel, because I stepped forth. They would say rebellious.
Mhm.
No, it wasn't. It was like I saw a lane that I wanted to be in, and I knew what was in that lane that was for me, but I didn't take the route that they did. But in actuality, I superseded all expectations.
Come
And not
on.
even to tell you that they don't have any titles or degrees or certifications on the level that I
Yeah.
have. So the limiting
Yes.
beliefs that they instilled in me was the target of the enemy. See, they didn't know no
Mhm.
better. The devil was using
Mhm.
them because he knew the power that came in the last child, right?
Come on
So he
now.
had gave
Come
my mom the
on.
first and the second, and he had already knew that they weren't going to do what was required. So he created a Joseph in me, and they kept stripping me from my coats. They kept robbing me from my coat. But the minute that I turned 21, I never looked back over the things that they said about me,
Mhm.
that they perceived me to be. And yes, I did have a child at that time. Yes, I did
Yeah.
fall in that pattern, but that did not stop me.
Amen.
I always bet on
Awesomeness.
me. That's something that God has given me that some people don't have, that I want. It's something I can't teach, but I could show. A lot of people
Yes.
say, how do you do all of this? And to me, it's not a lot.
Mm.
To me, it's not a lot. It's just my mechanism. It's the way he speaks to me and shows me. And I love to be in alignment with him. I love
Yes.
this relationship with God. I love becoming more obedient every time through every test and
Mhm.
trial. I love discipline. I mean, I learned early on about a foundation because I had a child. So I
Yeah.
knew that I had to lay a solid foundation with no cracks. And whenever a crack would come in, like through the choices of a relationship, through the choices of my emotions, I would snap out of it and find a scripture, or I would meditate. Back then, it wasn't called meditating, though. Like it wasn't given a name back then, but I would literally sit with myself.
Mhm.
I was self taught before I became this holistic doctor. So when I
Yeah.
walked into this practice, it was everything that God had taught me 20 years ago.
Wow.
Holistic
Nice.
is mind, body, and spirit. I'm drawn to this. I'm not drawn to fictional books. I'm not
Mhm.
drawn to fake. I'm not. And my mom and them, to say I'm not an advocate reader, they never had the books in my face that I desired. They didn't
Yeah.
teach me other things. I had to go find those things for myself. Self-help books,
Mhm.
healing. I'm attracted to the science. They just didn't know who I was. So I was bored with
Yes.
their stuff. I don't want to read
Mm.
somebody else's fake story.
Yeah.
That's just not what I was drawn to.
I love it. I love it. That and I hope that that's what somebody needs to hear, because I think a lot of times, because it's our family,
That's
we
right.
feel like we have to put up with it. We feel like we have to tolerate it. And
Mm,
like you said, hey, be the rebel, and break free and find your
yes.
own lane, because that's
Yes.
healing.
It,
That's
it
healing.
really it really is healing. And a lot, if anyone's in my age bracket, 46 years old,
Hmm.
you just know that it didn't come like that back then, but we knew that we were hitting corners.
Yeah.
And every corner I hit, it was like I discovered a new world. I discovered new people. So God had taught me that there's other people out here that is your family, that's going to love you and show you the level that I'm drawing you to. So I've met many of ministers, many of prayer warriors, just by being in the salon.
Uh-huh.
And I would be like, oh my God, like, oh, I know, I'm drawn. The
Yes.
spirit, I'm drawn to that. And
Yeah.
so I would take heed and love on other people, and just never look back. I don't look back. I don't ponder upon my past. I just
Yeah.
don't.
That's a beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful that you shared with us that part of you. Now,
Yeah.
what I'd like to ask you is, because I know you're into the holistic, your specialty area is really the gut health now, but you also have the hair, because you started
Yes.
as a hairstylist. You have
Yes.
foundations with that. But have you gone through any personal sagas that led you to that? So my question really is,
I love that. Yes.
why gut health?
That why I will never forget.
Mm,
As a child, being raised in a dysfunctional household, all my emotions created gut health problems. I was diagnosed as a teenager with IBS, but before IBS, I used to have acid reflux. I felt everything inside of my digestive system. So like some people, they say they could feel the weight on their shoulders. That wasn't it with me. I would have stomach aches all the time. And my mother was holistic as well, right? So when I did go to the doctor, they would say, oh, there's nothing wrong with her because they can't see emotions tied to your digestive system. And it wasn't prominent back then to even understand that emotions tied to your digestive system was affecting your hormones, which the hormones reside inside of the gut. So I wanted to learn more about the digestive system in regards to the emotions, to be honest with you, because of my own illnesses. Okay. And I would always feel like I had a sour gut. I don't know if anyone understands what I mean by that, but that sour gut would feel like a tornado.
Yeah.
Just going around, and it would make you feel like you're nauseated, but then it's like, I didn't eat anything wrong. What's going on? So that was the first discovery with me as an adult. Okay. So I was able to correct the IBS and tell myself, you do not have IBS.
Come on.
So I learned affirmations and I learned the probable cause of those emotions tied to those diagnoses. Right. So then flipping it to the other side of it, I also realized as a child, whenever I ate cereal with homogenized milk, I was cramping, like hunched over, bloated. And I was like, what is going on? Meat made me sluggish, tired, go to sleep. So these are all the things that I was paying attention to from adolescent all the way up. And then I would always have mucus. Like, if you guys ever heard, like people that snort, that was me all the time. And my mom and them, oh, you're uncouth. You're uncouth. I'm uncouth, but we didn't know then. But the food wasn't settling and absorbing properly. And I wasn't moving the emotions out. I was restricting them. I was holding everything in because as the youngest child, I was told, be quiet. You don't know nothing. Like, these are the things that I'm told when I'm trying to have a voice. So as much as I got to be quiet and being told I don't know nothing, I'm holding it in and there's no area for me to release it, which created gut health issues and imbalances and just unsettled nervous energy in my body. I used to literally I was a nail biter all my life. I used to bite my nails. I find myself doing it sometimes, and then I'll be like, oh, like, girl.
Like, we're delivered from that, so stop.
Yes, like you're grown now. That's not the child in you anymore. So that's what we're going to get into. Like, I start tapping to calm my nervous system down. I'll take adaptogens, an anxious list. Like, I'm not perfect. I have things that I have to deal with, but I know how to subdue them now naturally. I don't have to go get a prescription. I don't have to go be diagnosed with ADD because my energetic field is overstimulated. So I know how to walk with it. That's why multiple things doesn't bother me. I can multitask. I can have 3, 4, 5 things going on in my head and it will be compartmentalized. But they want to diagnose us, but I know there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just gifted. I'm gifted in so many ways. I'm in so many ways. And because they're not used to a spiritual gift, then they think something's wrong with it. And I want to say to a lot of you out here watching this platform, you are so gifted that you're allowing your gift in what society or the systemic ways of life to paralyze you. And I want to shake your world up right now. I want to cause an earthquake, a great magnitude, a tornado, a hurricane, to get you to unlearn what they told you and for you to tap in and listen to that higher being inside of you, navigate you through life, regardless of what other people are saying to you, because that is what stunted my growth. And I told myself, I'll never dumb down again because of society. I'm not going to dumb down. When I walk in the room, I see what I see. I feel what I feel. I'm not going to dumb down.
Yeah. Wow, I love that. Like that was so powerful and so moving to me. I'm like speechless because that
Right.
was that was really hitting home. And I don't think we see things in that way. We're
Right.
always getting these medical diagnoses and these labels, but we never think about the connection.
That's right.
And now that you're saying it, like all of my nursing career, all of the information that I learned, it's
Yes.
now tying together with like a little
Yes.
bow. And it's like, yeah, we know the
Yes.
gut is where the serotonin
Yes.
is created, it's
Yes.
stored. So
Yes.
if you're storing your emotions and your energy, your serotonin is not able to produce, and of course you're going to be anxious and
Come on.
depressed.
Yes, because of the
Like it
gut
makes sense.
brain. The
Yeah.
gut sends a signal to the brain. So if that
Hmm.
serotonin is being released, it's going to send it here, and then here comes that rush of that blood flowing all the way down, thinking that the body is in fight mode, that it needs to protect, but it's the
Hmm.
wrong hormone, cortisol, being released.
Yeah.
It's really what you said. It's a maze, it's a
Hmm.
roadmap, it's a path. We just have to figure individually which way to go
Yes.
for for our individuals and what they're dealing with.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful unto God that I connected with you. We connected on
Yes,
Instagram. I
yes, we
saw I
did.
saw your posts on Erica Campbell's page. Y'all know Erica Campbell,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
I just so happened to see Dr. Reddick's post. She was at her clinic getting the foot
Yes, she
detox with
was.
her family. And I was just like, wow, okay. I was like, let me follow this lady. Let me see what she's all about. So
Oh,
I am
amazing.
so grateful that we connected because what you said, the word that you used that was so key was individualized. And
Yes.
that's literally what I experienced in your gut health program. It is an
Hmm.
individualized. It's
Yes.
not what everybody experiences. It's not the cookie cutter mold.
That's
And no
right.
shade to any medical doctor. We love medical
Right.
doctors. We need
Yes, we
medical
do.
doctors. But what I like, this is just Sheniqua, okay? What I like about holistic specialists is that they are more geared, or at least you are. I can't speak for
For
everybody, but
everyone, but
with
that's okay. Yeah.
you, it is very individualized. It's what's going on with you. Give me
Hmm.
your top three symptoms,
Yes.
and then you
Yes.
grow from there.
From there, it's personal. It's really it's a mind body experience, and
Mhm.
your story and your background or your issues, your concerns,
Yeah.
it's never going to be the same with someone else. It's not always about
Hmm.
diet. When I speak to people, to individuals for the gut health program, it's not always about diet. It's more about
Hmm.
mood. It's more about hormones. It's more about what they've been experiencing.
Hmm.
So when I think about an individualized experience, and the whole purpose is to listen with an
Yeah.
intent to learn. And
Yeah.
so I'm speaking back to you, but I'm having feelings flare up inside of me when I'm hearing individuals profess what they're experiencing. And a lot of the times we are just overwhelmed,
Hmm. Hmm.
and we're just
Yes.
overwhelmed. And so that creates the stress. So when I
Yeah.
take care of that part and I'm listening, I'm like, okay. And then when we're getting down to the root cause, I'm like, oh, you've been holding in. So now it's
Hmm.
time to let go and release. There's some people in the gut health program where I would simply say, the first step I would love to do is an emotion code session with you. And they're like,
Hmm.
huh? Because the emotions could be the root cause to why
Yes.
your gastrointestinal system is out of whack, imbalance. And I'm like, you know what? There's some trauma there. So even if I told you go do X, Y, and Z and we leave the trauma, then we're not gonna solve the problem. I want to reset the digestive system. So that's why it's
Hmm.
individualized. A lot of us, we have old hurt, old buildup.
Yes. Yes. And now I'm thinking about it because it has been a year's time. And
Mm-hmm.
really, I wouldn't say like I still have some of the issues, especially with the fibroids, like that's still
Yes.
there. But as far as my gut health, it's still protruding, but that ain't got nothing to do with That
Right.
that was something, because I had surgery, and they did whatever they did. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel better.
Better.
And when I don't feel good, I know I've been eating all the wrong foods, right? And
Yes.
you are the
Yes.
ones that awakened my eyes to that. It was
Right.
showing me the types of foods that I should be eating and should be avoiding. And so when I pay attention to that,
Yes.
I feel a lot better. And
Yes.
through your program, you mentioned a lot about the probiotics. I take my probiotics
Yes.
faithfully,
Lee. Yes.
faithfully.
Yes.
And another part of that is the stress.
Yep.
I was working a full-time corporate job,
Mm-hmm.
and all of those gut health issues that I was having,
Yes.
it was because of not only my diet, but it was the
Yes. The
stressors.
stress. And so
And
just
now
just
that I'm a year free, it's
yes.
like,
Oh,
hmm,
congrats. Yes.
hmm.
Right, right.
And now I feel better.
Better. Normally people think that they can just get a quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so this is the gut health program is not a quick fix.
Yes.
Now, mentally I start off and I tell people it's 30 days, but it's
Yeah.
really 90 days because we
Mm-hmm.
need to really reset and we need to change, right? The 21
Mm-hmm.
day rule, kill an old
Yes.
habit to create a new one, right? And so then
Yes.
I like to follow back in because you need to stay on the program for 90 days long enough to create this as a new habit.
Yes.
30 days is easy to break the habit again. 45 days
Mm-hmm.
is easy to be like, oh, I'm craving this again.
Yes.
Especially during our menses, with women, we
Mm-hmm.
go through certain cravings. But like I explained in the program, get your magnesium right before your menses because the magnesium helps to reduce the craving of sweetness and everything because that's what
Wow.
the body is lacking at that time.
Wow.
So it's normally magnesium, but we'll go towards the sugar or the chocolate or the salt.
Hmm.
So
I
it
hope
will
y'all
help you.
taking notes. That was really that
Yes,
was that was a little nugget she threw in there
that
at
was
us.
that was.
Yeah, I better write that down. Yes, that's
Yeah.
good. That's
So
good.
it's just helpful to know that we could reduce bloating. Magnesium is great for the gut, period. Right. And
Mhm.
our minerals in general, zinc, we need
Yes.
these minerals to survive. And we teach our children early on, take your daily vitamins while we're not taking
Mhm.
ours. But we should
Mhm.
continue. Yes, I know, right? We should continue to incorporate our daily vitamins now as adults. It would be a multivitamin, but you want to veer
Yes.
away from synthetic
Mhm.
medication because that doesn't absorb really well in the body. So
Mhm.
when it comes to the digestive system, like you're saying, it is a lifestyle. So
Yes.
Sheniqua was explaining like, oh, a year in,
Yes.
Sheniqua and I are both a year in, and it has fluctuated, because hormones are
Mhm.
fluctuating. So you have to give
Mhm.
yourself some grace. If you fall
Yes.
off, just pick yourself back up and start
Exactly.
again.
Mhm.
The one thing that I
Mhm.
haven't fell off with is my eating habits. So I do
Okay.
believe in clean, real food. I was
Yes.
raised that way. Processed food doesn't sit well in my digestive system.
Mhm.
Creamer from coffee. I like coffee a lot, but creamer, I'm hunched over.
Yes.
So I have to pay attention. The creamer acts like the homogenized milk. I can't do it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So there's certain things that you have to um, pull back. The 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
80% real food, 80% water, 80% consumption of the good, and then the
Mhm.
20% a cookie here and there, but less sugar of the
Mhm.
cookie, your
Mhm.
your your fun food over here and there, but stay away from 80% processed, always eating out, microwaving your meals, box food
Yes.
in the meals. You got to get
Yes.
into loving your kitchen again, being
Mhm.
domestic, chopping up, listening
Mhm.
to some good music. I mean, or hey, you got your phone in front of you, have a nice video on YouTube,
Yes.
but set up the
Yes.
room that you're going to be in and enjoy the space and start creating new recipes.
Love it.
And we give
I
you
love it.
literally a food sensitivity guide.
Mhm.
to
It,
help
it
out.
works. It works if you work it. Like, like as if anything, if you work it, it works. So the
Yeah.
plan is good. And Dr. Shawne talking about she 90 days. We still connected. We
I
still
Yes, we are.
connected. She loves
Yes, we
on
are.
us.
Yeah, we do. I know. It's a beautiful thing to create community, because
Yes.
community allows us to be accountable. It keeps us accountable. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like a
Mm-hmm.
sisterhood and a brotherhood, because I have a men's gut health program, but I separated from
Yes.
the women. So I let my fiance drive that engine, with the men, because he's telling me about,
Good.
what men are experiencing and so forth. But
Good.
it's community. And so in this community, when I see Sheniqua posting something like, "Hey, and I'm like, yes, girl, keep going. I see you." It's just that camaraderie that we have, no matter
Yes.
near or far. And it allows
Yes.
us to just cheer each other on and to remind each other, "Hey, I see you. I see
Mm-hmm.
you."
And that's what we as humans we desire. A lot of times we think we can do everything by ourselves. We don't need anyone, but in
Right,
actuality, you thrive better when you do have a community. The problem is you're broken, you're traumatized from the past. But
right.
Dr. Shawne has already told us that you got to sever that. You got to
Yeah,
hit the pause. The past was the past, and now you've got to be committed to living in the future, even if it means you've got to not, we're not saying, cut everybody off, but
right.
put everybody in their rightful place.
Yes. When you do that, you will change your microbiome.
Mm, yeah.
Because food is energy, which is a vibration, right? And each food has a color group.
Mm-hmm.
Each color has a different frequency. We
Okay.
don't pay attention to all of this, and that's why we're supposed to eat a vast array of color food, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
They just
so,
tell us that. They don't tell us why. They just
no,
say, eat the colors of the rainbow, but never explain why.
because it has a vibration. Each color builds upon each other. It's a building block. And
Mm,
so we are electromagnetic fields. We have a frequency. That's why music has a frequency, and it's studied and shown that music vibration could change the structure of a water. It could
mm,
separate it, it could bring it together, it could do so many. The music we listen to, that affects our digestive system, because you got to think about your nervous system,
yeah.
your vagus nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is tied into your digestive system, right? So that's why at night I listen to 528 hertz of music. That's healing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when I wake up in the morning, I have a smooth bowel, right?
Okay.
I have a bowel movement once a day. Some people have a bowel movement twice a day,
Mm-hmm.
3 times a day. It's depending upon how many times a day you have. You can overuse the restroom, and that's when the body is literally not absorbing nutrients at all. It is just going.
Mm-hmm.
And
Dumping.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, and so when it comes down to these colors help to pack building blocks on top of each other for the body to permeate, for
Yeah.
it to be able to release, dissolve, for the fluid to get into the large intestines, for the actual small intestines to break it down, for it to go over into the liver with the blood sugar level. There is a reason why we have these organ systems, and
Yeah.
each one plays a vital role. And our food is specifically connected to a body system in our body.
Hmm.
Celery, think about the lines of the celery. That's connected to our veins.
Hmm.
Everything has, they say, carrots, the iris of the eyes.
Okay.
Kidney bean, connected to the shape of the kidney. Like, there's a reason. Beets, heart, blood builder.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we need every food option.
Hmm.
Our
Okay.
greens, our bowel is green, yellow but green.
Uh-huh.
It's there's a divine connection. Our water intake fluid, spleen, it's a part of the water. Kidney, a part of the water. Our tear ducts, like, we need to be conscious. The body is 60% of water. Our cells, on a cellular level.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to really tie everything in when it comes to physiology, which
Yeah.
is the function of the
Mm-hmm.
human body and its mechanisms. how it works.
Yeah.
Anatomy is structure, bone, muscle, but the physiology is the part that we don't focus on. Our cells, we have over
Yep.
100 trillion cells
Yeah.
in our body. And each one of those cells has a mitochondria. It
Mhm.
has the protein, it has everything that you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Our amino acids, our fatty acids, the glucose, all of that. And if you just think of how many of those cells is just directly in the digestive system,
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
matters that we take care of our gut. When you
Yeah.
have a healthy gut, you have a healthy mind, and you have a healthy body structure.
And now that I'm thinking about it, you just said that. I've realized that I haven't really struggled with my depression
Mm,
like how I used to.
yes,
There
ma'am.
used to be certain times of the year,
Yeah.
but that was before I started really taking care of my gut health.
Which
Now
is
that I'm
seasonal depression.
constantly, yeah, now that I'm
And it depends
constantly
on what
doing
happened in
it,
that season to
yeah.
why that depression was coming on, or even think about the winter time when we don't have the vitamin
Mhm,
D from the sun, or we have some
mhm.
people in the summertime, they also have depression because they get heat exhaustion, they're allergic to the, it's so many
Oh,
things. But us melanin, we're indoors too much.
yeah.
We need the vitamin D. So if your doctor says to you as a black man or woman that you're deficient with vitamin D, they're telling you the truth because you're indoors too much.
Mhm,
We
mhm.
need to sit and sunbathe. We need to go and ground ourselves.
Yeah.
Grounding ourselves will help release a lot of toxicity and waste that our
Mm.
digestive system probably is holding the weight in bloating and irritability. If
Wow.
you go walk on grass, sand, soil, start gardening, any of that nature, you
Mhm.
will change the pH level in your digestive system
Wow.
automatically.
Wow. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. We need to hear this because we're afraid of it. We feel like we have to go to school or college to study this.
Mm,
No, you just got to get connected
yes,
to someone who's willing to openly share
that's
this
right.
information. I forgot all about your handles. Let me get Dr. Shawne's information up here because I mean, as much as I would love to keep her to myself, I do want you all to reach out to her because she is a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
before I let you go, tell us what else is new. And we know you're part of the left hand club now. So,
Right.
but well, what else is new with you? What are you working on these days?
So late, and I'm super excited. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this. So within the last year that you've seen the growth, just listening to my inner spirit that God had said, no more mediocre thinking, no more mediocre living. So I asked him, like, what do you mean by that? What's going, like, what do you mean? And he was like, you can have your one-on-one clients, but I need to take you higher.
Yes.
So he's opened up a whole new realm where I do corporate wellness now.
Good.
So I go in corporate offices, corporate America, and I now introduced them to the gut health program.
Ooh.
And I helped the retention rate of their employees and the actual satisfaction of the employees. I work with the top tier managers within a company, and I help them to be able to reset their digestive system or remove trapped emotions so that they can be better leaders to their staff. And
Yes.
so I do corporate wellness health fairs where there's a company that hires me twice a month, and I go and or I speak, present to them about wellness on a holistic level.
I love it.
So I'm excited about the corporate wellness program. I've also recently, not recently, but how should I say this, Sheniqua? Since 2016, I have collaborated with this company. However, I
Wow.
never was forthcoming with it.
Ooh.
So God did a full circle and was like, this. He drew me to this company, and so what I did was I connected with Nature Sunshine.
Yes.
And I collaborated with them because they've been in business for over 50 years as the first company ever to put herbs into supplement capsules. So
Mm-hmm.
I love their line because it's halal, kosher, vegan. They have great certifications. So I partnered with them to be able to bring the missing link to my program, where you're familiar because that's
I
what you.
am.
Yes. And
Yes,
so it's
indeed.
such a clean and healthy herbal solution for everyone.
Yeah.
And just making connections. There's organizations that have invited me to do speaking engagements
Love
with
it.
LAUSD out here in Los Angeles. I've gone and spoke to the youth for a summer bridge program to help them understand their digestive system and the importance of it with them retaining and learning and their
Mhm.
mood swings. I just did a speaking engagement as a keynote speaker with She Is More Than Enough organization
Love
with
it.
over 30 young ladies, speaking to them about what is beyond beauty, looking inward and teaching them the tapping meditations. So I'm really on a great path. My
Love
next
it.
goal is to get into the colleges. I want to
Yeah.
start with the HBCUs, and I want to actually start presenting to young adults
I
about
love
their
it.
health and living holistic and naturally.
That is some
Yeah.
good stuff. You all, we've got Dr. Shawne's social media handles. That's the entryway. Just
Right, right.
take a look around, do a little learning, but then you got to get to the website. So I put your link tree up because
Thank
it
you.
bridges to everything. It's the bridge to your salon. It's the
Yes.
bridge to what you do in the wellness arena. It's the gut health program. So you have access to everything. Listen, I consider you a sister friend to the show. You are always,
Thank
I
you.
told you that the last time, you are always welcome here. So, whatever you have that you're working on and you
Thank
want to talk
you.
about it, you are always going to be a friend to this show. So, I thank you so much for imparting such wisdom to all of us today. And if there are any lasting words on your heart,
Hmm.
please feel free to share. I'm trying to tap every little bit out of
Right.
you
So
guys. You
I
see
really
that?
appreciate, yeah, I really appreciate this platform so much. I love it when you reach out to me. It's a special invite. And I just want everyone to know that we have to start loving ourselves through the mind, body, and spirit. And I know that that is being thrown out there a lot, but it's really your mental state is very important. There's a lot of things that we waver in faith, but we need to stay the course and be grounded and rooted in our beliefs and not let anyone or anything out here taint us or conform us. Okay. So God is always in the renewing of the mind. So it's not going to just happen one time. He's going to always elevate and show you different ways of life. And so don't allow yourself to be stuck and complacent. Be open,
Mhm.
willing to learn, willing to unlearn, to now gravitate to this old, basic, ancient
Yeah,
practices
yeah,
that wasn't necessarily taught. And they did it for a reason, but that's okay though, because there's always a purpose and there's always a cycle of life. So now that we're here in this cycle, get on board. One of the other things I want to say is sometimes we don't really hug each other.
Hmm,
Yeah.
true.
We don't hug each other. We don't greet each other with a smile. We don't make ourselves welcoming and inviting. We're guarded.
Yeah.
And I want to say in this season, let your guard down and
Hmm.
start with yourself. Okay. And when you let your guard down, starting with yourself, I want you to spread your arms wide, spread them wide, and then wrap,
Hmm.
squeeze. Mm. Start loving you.
It felt good.
It does.
Yeah.
When you just hug yourself before bed, in the middle of a hectic day, when you wake up, it gives yourself this ability to just say, you know what? I can do all things,
Yes.
all things. Love you. If no one else does, you got to love you before you can love someone else.
Amen. Amen. I love it. Thank you so much. Hang out just for a second. Let me give the people their marching orders. Baby, that was good, good. And I'm telling you, I am so grateful that Dr. Shawne decided to come back and bless us yet again. If you are not connected to her, I don't really know what you're waiting on. I really can't tell you, but I want you to make the change today, because by next year, we want to see some growth in you. And I am 100% confident that she can help you get there. So make certain you click the links, make certain you get all of the information that's in the bio so that you stay connected. And make certain you subscribe and share this message to everyone you know. Because even if they're not talking about gut health, this still may pertain to them. Make certain you subscribe and share. And I'm going to see you all on the next episode of the Black Girl Heal Her series. Y'all be blessed, okay?